Hi, welcome to today's video. This is going to be a beginner's yoga class. It's going to take about 10 minutes. We're going to go through some basic stretches to help you improve your flexibility. We're going to start on our backs. So make sure that you've got a comfy space to move in, maybe with a mat, or maybe even do this on your bed. I'm a big advocate for doing yoga on the bed because it really enables you to relax. If you don't have a mat, you could also just put a blanket on the floor and make sure you've got some padding for your hips if you do that. Take a couple of breaths as you settle. And first of all, just take a little body scan. So just draw your attention up the body, starting with the feet, moving up to the lower legs, the knees, the upper legs, noticing your hips and pelvis and the weight of your seat on the mat. And just take a note of anything in the lower half of the body that feels a little bit cranky or tight. And then notice your torso, so perhaps your low back and your tummy, your mid back, and that little curve in your back where it moves away from the mat. Your shoulder blades, where they hit the floor, across your chest and down both your arms towards your hands. Maybe take a big breath here and let it out. And just notice how it feels to breathe deeply. Again, take note of anything that feels a bit cranky or tight. And then just notice where your shoulders meet your neck and into your jaw and around your facial muscles. And notice if you can get a little bit more space along your neck away from your shoulders. Take another big breath. Let it go. And let's bring the hands behind the right thigh and just straighten that right leg any amount. It might be quite straight, it might be really bent. It doesn't matter, just so long as it feels like there's a very slight stretch along the back of the calf. And you can just hold your leg there, interlace your hands behind the back of the thigh, and just try and press your thigh into your hands and press your hands back into your thigh. So as if each is resisting the other. And then let's flex the foot and point the foot. And notice how this changes the sensation. Just run through that, flexing and pointing a few times. And then take that foot in a circle a few times. Don't worry about any cracking in the ankle joint. Take the circle the other way. And then use your hands to gently bring the knee in a little bit closer to the body. And you might just want to stay here. Or you could now cross your right ankle over your left knee with your left foot still planted there on the ground. And using your right hand, just press that knee away from you to open up a little bit through the hip and stretch a bit through the glutes. Take a big breath. Maybe this is enough for you, in which case stay here for a couple more breaths. If you'd like to take the stretch a little bit deeper, we're going to bring this left knee in. Maybe interlace your hands behind the back of the thigh or in front of your shin. And just hold this figure four shape or this pigeon pose for a couple of breaths. Think about weighing your hips down towards the mat so that we can really isolate the stretch here through the back of the right leg. One more nice big breath. And then bring that left foot down. Stretch the right leg away from you and just wiggle it about a little bit. Shake it out and loosen through the hip. And then let's bring the right foot onto the mat and we're going to repeat on the other side. So lift the left leg up towards the ceiling, however straight, might be bent, might be a little bit more straight. Interlace the hands behind the back of the thigh and start by pressing the thigh into the hands, pressing the hands back into the thigh so that both are resisting one another. And then let's flex the foot and point the foot and move through that motion a couple of times. And then take some ankle circles, circling one way, circling the other. Your upper body's nice and relaxed at this point. Bring that knee in towards the body, just as close as is comfortable. And then maybe bring this left ankle over the top of the right knee and use your left hand just to press that knee open a little bit more so you feel that stretch in the front of your hip. Take a breath here, decide if this is enough for you. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, just like with the other side, you're going to start to bring this right knee in, maybe hold at the back of the thigh or at the front of the shin. Gently holding your legs here in this figure 4 shape and just tending your hips down towards the ground, imagining making your tailbone a little bit heavier with every exhale. Take one more breath. Gently bring that right foot back down to the mat. Lengthen the left leg away from you. Just shake it out a little bit. Loosen through the hip. Let's bring that foot back onto the mat and just pause for a moment and notice how the low body feels now compared to when we did that little body scan to start. And then roll onto your side and use your hands to help yourself come up into a seated position. Just find a comfortable cross-legged position, and you might want to lift your hips up on something. So if your knees are very up and you feel like there's a lot of pressure in your hips, it can be helpful just to lift the hips onto something and just bring the knees lower than the hips can reduce that pressure. Just bring the fingertips out to the side on an inhale. Start to lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Fingertips come to touch and maybe look up towards those fingertips. And exhale, widen the arms and bring them back down again. Let's take that twice more. Inhale. And exhale. Move with your own breath once more. Now we're going to turn into a twist. So we're going to slightly turn the upper part of the body towards your right knee. Bring your left hand towards your right knee and your right fingertips wherever you can reach. And then straighten the spine. And then just see if there's a little bit more space for a twist to the right, glancing toward that right shoulder. Keep your jaw and your neck nice and relaxed. Take a breath. And then with this right hand, start to bring that arm up again towards the ceiling. And then start to bring the left shoulder towards the left knee, and the arm carries on over into a nice side bend. Take a big breath. Imagine that you're keeping that right hip planted on the mat and someone is pulling on your right fingertips to lengthen the right side of the body. Take one more breath here and use the movement of your arm to come back up and to untwist to center. Take a couple of little shoulder rolls. We'll go the other side. So turn the torso towards that left knee. Hips are staying relaxed. Right hand on that left knee. Left fingertips wherever they land. Straighten the spine first, and then see if there's a bit more space to turn and glance back towards your left shoulder. Take a couple of breaths here in this nice thoracic twist. And then start to lift that left arm up towards the ceiling and bring it over, bringing your right shoulder down towards your right knee, keeping the left hip planted, extending away through those left fingertips. Be looking up towards the ceiling or maybe just looking ahead and feeling that long stretch down the left side of the body. Take a couple of breaths. And then gently bring the arm back and let that movement bring you back up. Turn back to center. Take some shoulder rolls in the other direction this time. Okay, now we're going to bring the feet out in front of us, Bringing the feet together and thinking about a kind of diamond shape with the knees, so almost like two right angles. And then wiggle up so that you're on your sit bones, so that you can feel your sit bones are really on the floor and the pelvis almost feels like it wants to tilt forward. And then you can hold on anywhere, your ankles, somewhere in your shins, nearer to your knees, wherever feels comfortable. And we're just going to tilt the pelvis forward and then tuck the pelvis under and lean back and find a curve through the spine. So roll the pelvis forward, lean forward, and think about your sternum leading you forward, and gaze is a little bit up. Maybe you draw your shoulders back and then roll the pelvis under, coming back onto your sit bones, curving through the spine, and you could drop your chin here. And let's take that again. Pelvis rolls forward, chest comes forward, glance up towards the ceiling maybe. And then tilt the pelvis back, hollowing through the tummy. Chin comes towards the chest. Feel that nice stretch between the shoulder blades. Take one more, moving in your own time. And then come back to center so that you're balancing on your sit bones. You feel like your spine is nice and tall. And then we're going to imagine taking some big circles around your pelvis. So move forward to the side, roll back to the left and forward. So you've got this kind of circular motion on your pelvis, almost as if your spine was a central column that you're moving around. Once you've got that feeling, if you like, you can start to lean back and lean forward in these big circles, bringing the whole of the upper body in. And take it the other side. Take the circles back the other way. Come back to stillness. Straighten up the spine again, balancing on the sit bones. Noticing if there feels like there's a bit more length and height in your spine. And then last of all, start to tilt the pelvis forward, but this time walk the hands forward and just hold a little forward fold. So you could start with a straight back, and you'll feel this along the back of the legs. Take a breath. And then think about relaxing the arms and rounding the back, dropping the chin to the chest, just coming down as low as feels comfortable. And take a big breath here into the upper back. And as you exhale, try and relax your hips a little bit more. Let's do that twice more. Breathing into the back and relaxing on the exhale. And then when you're ready, plant your hands on the ground and press your hands into the ground and walk them back, slowly uncurling your spine and realigning it vertebrae over vertebrae until you come back into that nice straight position. You could stretch the legs in front of you again, give them a little wiggle, find your cross-legged position and just check in how you're feeling and how does your body feel. And maybe just notice now if there's any shifts and changes in the upper part of the body, in the torso, in the neck, the upper back, or the hips. I hope you enjoyed this beginner's yoga class to help with your flexibility. If you would like more beginner classes like this, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.